Okay, so I should be live. Okay, this stream is buffering on my end. Okay. So what we will be doing today is implementing board functionality. So whenever we add in like a board, we can actually use it. So let me show you what I want to do. So host test. So whenever we create a board, I want to be able to enter a item name and an item description and then add it, and it will automatically add it to the to-do column, and if we click on it for the move, it moves it to the done column. So I will also try to be implementing networking to this, of course, because that's what I want to do. So let's get started. So I already have the prefab standard BRD.tscn, okay? So I guess I can go ahead and add in a C# script. Scripts standard BRD. Create. So I will open up the old source code just so I can see what I need to do. New BRD. Okay, here we go. So this is all the code for the original BRD written, of course, in GDScript. It's a lot of just the same garbage over and over again. I didn't really make this the most efficient code, or the most clean code, but it does certainly get the job done pretty good. So I guess we should hold a reference to the array, of course, so the items name array, the complete array, the description array, and the ID array. So I will go ahead and open that up in Visual Studio Code. Okay, here we go. So we need to store a list of strings, okay? So we should just be able to type in list string items name array, and we can just set equal to a new list of string, and then in that line. I'm also going to do this for complete array description array as well. Well, complete array is an array of bools, so that should be an array of booleans. So items complete array. Is it B? Yeah, okay. I just had to make sure I was spelling that correctly. So we have that. We should also store the descriptions. And of course that flickering is back. I have no idea how to fix that, of course. And we also need to store an array of ints for the items ID array. So list int. Is it not typed as int? What is it typed as then? If I can actually type correctly, items ID array is equal to new list of int. Okay, and that. So that's pretty much all the arrays we need to have. So now we actually need to hold references to the things we need to be editing and also the current index as well. So on ready var new items, so I could create a packed scene maybe. Kind of want to see how I did it here. Yeah, okay, I just stored a packed scene. Is it a public variable? Yeah, I don't think it needs to be a public variable, not at all. So, oh, I forgot. I should probably put a link to this on Twitter, just so you guys can start pouring in. I misspelled twitter.com. I'm going to tweet that now. I know you guys can't see it. Okay. So now, I think I can close that out. We won't be needing it. So we need to hold a reference to the new item. So packed scene new item is equal to, how did I do it here? gd.load. gd.load. And then just brd item.tscn as packed scene. As packed scene. So we should have that statically typed. I think we should at least. And then we can also have references to the to-do column and the done column. So that will be... I think I should be able to store it as just a control node. It has to be able to add childs, so yeah, a control node should do, because I don't think I actually access anything from the vertical box containers. So control to-do column is equal to gd.get node. I don't like the fact that it's not auto-completing. Do I not have a to-do column? Items. This is equal to... Can I direct that into there? I'm gonna save that so I can view it in here. VBox container. So that should do that. Control. And then control done column, if I can learn how to type correctly, is equal to gd.get node. And then we need this VBox container in here. I'm going to have to fix that parentheses as control. And if I should run it, I shouldn't get any errors. Okay, we got some errors. Type names. Oh, we need to use systems.collection.generic. Systems.collections.generic. Systems. System.collection.generic. Oh. Items complete array. The majority of my problems just come from misspelling things. GD does not contain a definition for get node. Yeah, I know. Okay, so we can't use get node. Wait a minute. Doesn't Godot support this? Like, can I do on ready for these? On ready. Should that work? Cannot be found. Okay. So no, I could not do that. So I can just define it in the ready function. So to do column is equal to whatever this garbage is up here. Control X. And then the done column is equal to get node. And then, nah, I'm just still copy and paste this. Yoink. Okay. And that should just work, I think, I hope. I hope it works. Yes, okay, no errors, that is amazing. So it's taken us 10 minutes to get this far. So C# isn't really the fastest language to program in, but it's statically typed so you can catch errors before you export it. Okay, so now what? So now we actually need to instance it whenever we press this button or enter on any of these fields. So I should probably go ahead and connect them to signals. So node, text entered. That did not work. Connect. Pressed. Connect. And that did not work. Connect. There we go. So Godot C# implementation is actually very solid, but it's also kind of janky at the same time. I have no idea why. Okay, so I can remove those comments. Okay, so we have those signals. So we also need to create a sync function so you can actually add items, like what we did here. So receive item request is what I should call it. So is it private? No, it's public. So public void receive item request. Receive item request. I misspell receive all the time. Okay, so now that should be spelled correctly according to my code, autocorrect. Of course, because I'm so bad at spelling that I need an autocorrect for my code. So we should also add the sync parameter to the function, just so it actually syncs with our PC. And, so I should just be able to copy and paste this into my new code. And just change around the parameters. So it is a control node as control instance. Let's just call it instance item. Instance item dot name is equal to new board name. Where's that variable referenced at? Okay, so I should create a variable called string new board name. Okay. String new item name is equal to new item name standard BRD array dot add items name array dot add. Okay, so I'm glad I spelled everything the same so I could just do this. New item name. Okay, so I will also need a line edit for that. Okay, so I'm just trying to think about how I would go about this. So item name dot text. And we also need to fix that, so instanced item. So we should reset the description field, the name field, and that should just be the fields we have to reset. So I should hold references to those. So line edit, and it should be called like name field. I can leave that blank, and then line edit description field. And then in our ready function, I'm going to do that inside Godot just so I can reference the things correctly. So the name field is equal to get node, and it is the item name button. Why did I call it button? I have absolutely no idea at all. I still don't know what's up with that flickering. That was their last stream as well. As not control, as line edit. And then the description field is equal to get node. item. That is not what I wanted to do. Okay, fix these parentheses, of course. As line edit. Okay, so now we should be able to enter VS Code once again. And then we should just be able to say name field.text and description field.text is equal to that. Now, time to test. I need to make sure that's actually saved. I still don't know if the flickering's a problem with KDE Plasma or OBS. I think it's being caused by just the way OBS handles screen capture, but once again, I'm not really that sure. Standard BRD prefab does not exist in current context. Where is that? Yeah, I wonder why. So standard, so it's called new item dot instance, and I also forgot we need to actually type in receive item name in those fields. So how did I do it here? So I just create new board name in each field. Okay, so string new item name is equal to name field dot text, and we should just be able to type in receive item request and new item name, and then I can just copy and paste that everywhere, and that should just work. Oh, and of course I forgot to end my lines. It seems like the flickering's even worse this live stream. Properties. But the weird thing is that I don't see it on, like, my own, like, screen. It only happens in the screen capture, so I honestly have no idea what's causing it. Okay, so play. Okay, so I should be able to instance a board. I forgot to host it. Yeah, I want to change the default text in here to your callback IP, so that shouldn't have any problems. Test, and it crashed. What caused it to crash? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Maybe it's because contents / board tabs doesn't exist. That could be a possibility. Okay. So what is it called? And we're holding references to the to-do column anyway, so to-do column.add child. Okay, set the loop back IP address so we can actually use the program. Host test. Yay, we actually got it working, and it doesn't set the contents. Yay, but that is progress. That is progress. That is better than what we had before episode 1. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Settings. System settings. And, effects. Desktop effects. Can I turn off... I'm going to turn off blur. I know there's also one for transparent. Okay, it is raining really hard where I am, so if, like, I stop streaming, then it's because the power went out, but I don't think it will. So it seems the flickering has stopped. So it was one of those effects causing it. Okay, so we should not be editing the name of the object. We should be editing, let me open up this. We should be editing the contents of this button here. So we should have to get the contents node and then the text. Okay, let's do that. Dot get node, and we should just be able to drag this into here. Is not used in the scene. What? Okay, so we're gonna have to do this the hard way. Typing it by hand. Container backslash item contents dot text. I'm still trying to figure out how to, like, make this code cleaner. Let's see if this works. Identifier expected. What? Where's that at? Okay. So I'm actually going to search that up. C# get Godot C# get text of label. Labels and set text. Apparently Godot Engine.org's down. Oh, so we do this. We type in get node label and then the thing. So I'm gonna see if that works. Button. Reload. I have to get used to saying the loopback IP address. So test. Okay, so that worked. If I knew that sooner, I would have saved minutes of my life. Yeah, that's kind of painful to save. So we've gotten almost nothing done in the 23 minutes I've been streaming. But it's better than what we had before episode 1. So what should I do next? Should I handle the deletion of items, or should I handle the moving of items? I kind of want to get RPC set up right away, just because it'd still be one of those things that's going to be hard to implement if I do it later, so let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, we just say RPC receive board request, so I should just be able to say RPC receive item request, receive, if I spell it correctly, item request, and we should just need new item name, and I can just copy and paste this into here, of course. But the question is, would that work? It would if I ended the line. So test, I forgot to click host, test, test, so no crashes, that's good. So yes, we already have a network peer set up. Okay, that was on. Anyways, so time to test this with multiple clients. So I'm just going to export this as x86-64 and test it. If that works, then that is bloody amazing. Open in file manager. Wait a minute, did it fail? Oh no. Okay, that's good. Clear, I can clear all that garbage. So I can close this, open this and debug. Move that up to there. Host, join, test, Okay, so we see it working on both clients. Let's see if we create an item. Okay, yes, it does work on, with multiple clients. So that is really awesome. I barely even had to do anything. I just had to call the RPC and that was it. Now this live stream's only 30 minutes long, so I am going to continue it. I want to get moving in. So I want to use a signal tree, so let me open it up in Draw.io. Draw.io. So I can, like, show you what I want to do. Decide later. So I want to have, like... I'm actually going to use something bigger for that. Miscellaneous title, okay. So we want to have just a standard item, right? And then we want to have, like, the board. And then whenever we click the move thing, I have no idea what I'm doing to that arrow. So whenever we click the move thing, we want to send a signal to the board saying, like, move request. So it just sends a request to the board that says, hey, we want to move. And then the board returns back into a response. Well, it shouldn't really be a response because we're not actually sending anything back to the item. But whenever we see this, let's just say this. So whenever we do that, we move the item. So move request. Let me add a title. We move the item depending on its current state. So move item. So this is just like a really oversimplified version, but whenever the item sends a move request to the board, it just pretty much just moves that item to the new board. And I could probably actually add a little bit more to this. So if we are done, if the item does have a state of done, I feel like there's a better thing for that, but I'm not sure what it is. So if we are done, what did I just do? If done, I feel like there really needs to be like a good visual programming language. Like not something like those visual scripting languages, but a language like this. Oh no, that sounds interesting. So if done, I'm going to add in another title. If not done, then we want to use the arrow tool. Draw.io is a really useful tool to developers. But yeah, I'm surprised at how many people don't even know it exists. So if we're done, move it to the move to to-do column. I'm actually going to add in a break there. Arrow tool. This stream's a little bit better than the stream I did yesterday. So if we are not done, then we want to move it to the done column. Move to done column. I'm not sure if doing this is the best way to go about it because we'll have to do like some state checks and all that. Or what I could do instead is if the item has like a bool on it that says like, hey, we're done, then it will change its column. So it will pretty much just do a swap to the other column. I think if that's a better way to go about it, but it can also be more complex than what I'm doing here. But then again, what I'm doing here could also be more complex than what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I'm not sure. So this is just a really oversimplified visual of what I want to do. So using that, I'll start coding. So we need to add a script to the board item. Scripts board item.cs. And then of course open this in Visual Studio Code and we can start coding. So we need to define a signal move request. I think it should need just one bool, but that is it. It might also need an ID, but I'm not sure. It should just need a bool, so I'm just going to type in bool state. And we'll also just have a boolean up here just called, like, if I can actually spell bool correctly. Bool is done state. Just like that. So, whenever we click the move button, I'm just going to add in a signal here. Whenever we click this move button, we want to emit that signal. Well, first we would want to change its state. So if we are not done, then we set it to done. If we are done, then we set it to not done. Okay, so is done state is equal to not is done state, and I have no idea if that will work or not. And then we just say emit signal move request, and then we just want to say is done state in the line. End of line expected. Okay, namespace signal cannot be found, so gd.signal. How do you define signals in C#? There's that this thing that I wanted to resort to. David Murphy says in chat, ooh, C#, that's for clever people. Yeah, it is. I just found that funny. So how do we define a signal in C#? Okay. Godot custom signals C#. Okay. Have to make custom signal using C#. Should we... Oh, it's not implemented. Oh no. Wait a minute, when was this posted? 2017, so should it be added by now? What's the newest thing? Oh, so we use delegates. And we just add the signal tag. Okay. So that was useful. So public don't mind if I do. I don't feel like typing all that. So move request, and we also will need a bool for is done. And then we just type in signal. I'm not sure if that will work. Okay, yes it does. So I'm not really sure what else to do here. Because this is pretty much all the logic we need. Well, if the contents contain HTTP or HTTPS, then we want to add this open link button. So by default, get node control, and we just want to say open button, And we can just say dot hide. And how would I go about checking? How would we go about checking if a string contains something? So, how did I do it over here? So I'm just going to say open file, new item. So we just get the contents, we get text, and then we just call the dot find method. And if it's not equal to -1, then we just show it. That probably is not the cleanest way to go about that. But if it works, then it works, and don't touch it if it does work. What just happened? Okay. So, if get node control, it's probably not that efficient getting the same node twice. Open button. No, that is, well, we're not getting the same node twice. We get the item content dot text dot find. How did we do it over here? So text dot find HTTP. We should just actually be able to do HTTP because HTTPS also contains HTTP, so I should just be able to type in HTTP. And if it is not equal to -1, then we can show it. It's not equal to -1. Then we can say do this and then dot show. I don't know if that will work or not. Oh, if statements in C# are weird. Control does not contain a definition for text. Okay, let me change it to the button then. Okay, yes, that should indeed work. So if I just add in a board name, post it, and let's just see HTTP. We should see open link, but if we just type in something like test, yes, okay, it does indeed work now. Now we still need to handle moving logic. I kind of got sidetracked there. So we want to connect the signal whenever we add in a new item to receive move request, and we should also RPC it. So trying to think of a way to RPC it without having to use two different functions. I think I'm going to have to. Instanced item. Can I just say instanced item dot instanced item dot connect receive move request to self to isn't it this in C#? Hold on. I have to find it. To self, is it this? I'm just going to assume it's this. I can correct it later. And I'm just going to connect it to receive move request. My code autocorrect is saying I misspelled it. I can never spell receive correctly. I don't know what it is about that word, but I always want to add the I before the E. And then we need to create that function, public let's just create it, public void, just to be safe. Receive move request. It needs a bool is done, but that should just be it. is done. And if no, we will also need the object. So yes, we will have to add in something other than that. Object. Let's actually say control. And then object. And then self. I have no idea how to get the self reference in C# Godot, but I can figure it out. And we also need a control for the object. So whenever we do that, we want to get its is done state. I'm trying to think here. So whenever we do that, we want to get its is done state, but we already do that, so... Well, no, we would have to handle it over here as well. I want to have as small amount of functions as possible. So I'm just going to create a sync function. So public void move item bool is done and control for the object. And I'm just going to set it to sync. Sync. Okay. If is done is equal to true. So if is done double equals true. Then we want to say object. Isn't there like a clear parent function? So object dot clear parent. Well, how do I do it over here? So receive move request. We remove the child. Okay, so we want to get the to do column. Wait a minute, this is actually the done column. So done column dot remove child, and then we can just pass an object. And that line, of course, to do column dot add child, and then we can just say object. And then if is done double equals false, so that means we are not done, then we want to move it to the done column. So no, I'm going about this the wrong way. So to do column. I mean, I can always fix it later. It's not like one of those things that, like, once I type it in, it's done. So done column. So we just want to do the flip-flop here. So we want to say done column dot remove child object. And then to do column dot add child object. And I have no idea if that will work or not. And then we just want to say RPC move item. Move item. RPC needs stuff, so is done and then object. I have no idea if that will work. Oh, I forgot to end like all of my lines. Syntax error. What? Where am I getting a syntax error at? What? Can we not pass in things? Objects, so I can't just type in object, so I will have to call this like item or something. And then where do we admit it? Item. Item. It's probably why I'm getting so many syntax errors. Item. item, item. Okay. And then just need to end the line. Where did I forget to end the line at? Up here. Wow, surprising. Instanced item does not exist in current context. Maybe it's because I misspelled it. This. Okay, so it's called... So it's not called this. It's not called self. So is it called like lowercase self? Or lowercase this? I don't know. We'll figure it out eventually. Name self. Godot access self. Cannot access self without an instance. Godot C# access self. Get self as another type C#. Is it? Huh? This is so odd. Okay, what self does? Access GDScript. So is it essentially saying you can't access self? Okay. Maybe it's lowercase this? Yes, okay, so it's lowercase this. So host it, test it. Okay. Move. That does not work. Attempt to connect non-existent signal. Tabs.receive move request. What? Where's that at? Connect an object of type control. Attempt to connect non-existent signal. Receive move request to method tabs.receive move request. Instanced item as a BRD item. Let's see if that works. Oh, we have a new viewer. Well, it said I did. I don't know. Instanced item. So, BRD item. Cannot access... Okay, so that should work. So now I will test it. Test it once again. Move it. That does not work. Attempt to call non-existent signal. Receive move request. Move request. Copy, so it's spelled the same way. Figured out why. Added something I didn't need to. So host it, test. Okay, no errors, move. So that does indeed work. I can move it back and forth all I want. Now time to test it with multiple clients. So anytime I do something, I test it with multiple clients just to make sure our PC is set up correctly. The only problem I have right now that I think I might have, I don't know if this is actually a real problem, is having multiple boards. So host it and then join it. Test. Okay, so test and test. Let's see if I create an item here. Test 1. Okay, does it, but does it also do it over here? Okay, no it does not, so that is good. Move it. Crash. I didn't get an error, which is odd. I didn't get an error, which I find so odd. Post it. So whenever we join it, we should also automatically sync it, just so we can do that. I didn't get an error, which I find odd. So to do column.remove child item, so we remove the child, then we add it to the done column. But that shouldn't have created a crash. Let me rerun it, open in File Manager. Let me rerun it, just to see if it's some weird glitch. Is it like a server-side thing, or is it like a client-side thing? I mean, it's peer-to-peer, so... So test, let me actually host it and then join it. Test, so we create that, test. Okay, that works. Move it. So it's a syncing problem. Our PC move item is done. Okay. Is like anything null? That's what I want to see though. gd.print. Because it works on the side you're doing it on, but doesn't work on the other thing. So I'm just going to print the item. See if that is creating the problem. End of line expected. Okay, export the project to a Linux package. Okay. Failed to build project. What? Huh? It should automatically save it when you export it. Okay, so no errors. Failed to export. What? Or maybe that was just an old error. I'll rerun it just to make sure that wasn't an old error. Okay, so yes, that was just an old error. I'm gonna delete that file. So I can run that. Run this. Okay. Whoops. It's hard navigating between a lot of windows. So, host it, join it, test. Okay, so we do that, test. Okay, so I shouldn't have gotten anything printed to the console. Move. And it creates a crash on the other side. I really honestly don't know. Is it because it isn't holding a reference to the columns? No, that's not it, because it does it on the ready function. It's not because receive move request. We instance the item on both sides, so I don't know what that could be the problem. So obviously we know it's moving the item, and it's a problem with syncing. This is really odd. So we know it's not a problem with the signal. We know it's not a problem with this function here. I think these just don't match the same types. Well, no, they do. They do. I'm just going to change it to BRD item, just to be safe. BRD item, BRD item, BRD item. Okay, that shouldn't create any errors. Post it, test, test, move, move, move. Now let me run another instance, export project, save, overwrite, no errors, open in file manager. Let me quit that instance. Okay, move that over there. Move that up here. Host it, then join it. So test, we see the boards getting created. I'm probably go end the live stream here soon. I've been streaming for close to an hour now. So test, we see the items getting created. Move. Okay, so no, that did not create any errors. Is it getting caught in an infinite loop? If so, then I kind of just want to return it. Because I think in the syncing process, it's getting caught in an infinite loop. Let's build project. Okay, I'm gonna clear this to make sure I'm not getting any errors in the newer build. Clear. Export project, no debug. Open in file manager. Run the x86_64 file. Open up the debug version. Move that over there, move that down here. Post it, join it, test. Okay. Okay, test. Okay, that works. Move. Yeah, it still crashes. So it doesn't even move it over. What I kind of want to do now is have two debug versions running. Well, no, that wouldn't work. I'm trying to think here. So it's not because it's getting caught in an infinite loop. It's not because anything is null. Yeah, I genuinely have no idea. Could it be just a problem with the syncing process? Like, we know it's a problem with the syncing process because it works just fine on our local machines. I'll DuckDuckGo the thing. Oops. Okay, so Godot RPC causing crash with specific parameters. Steps to reproduce. Since the RPC rework, the bug is irrelevant. But we know it is working on our machines. Isn't there like different types of sync functions? Isn't there like remote sync, remote, dot high level multiplayer? So RPC function name optional args, so that shouldn't be causing any errors. Or what it's doing is, well, we have a reference to the object, right? They might have different IDs depending on which thing you're doing, but we're still passing the object through with all the parameters and stuff. So no, that shouldn't be a problem. Remote sync means the RPC will go via network and execute remotely, but will also execute locally. The remote keyword means the RPC will go via network and execute remotely. So let's try remote sync. Remote sync. Project export, export project, save, overwrite. If this doesn't fix it, then I'm just going to end the stream here. I'm going to get rid of all these mono crash logs. x86 64. And we still haven't implemented saving yet, so that's a problem. So host it, then join it, create a test board, test, move it, crash. So no, that did not fix a single thing, but I also think I spelled the parameter wrong. No, I didn't. Maybe I did. Is it called Let's check out the high-level multiplayer thing. Remote. Let me just try using remote. Let me see if that does it. Project export. Export project export is okay. No crashes, so that's good. Open in file manager. We did not get a mono crash. Run it and debug. Okay, so host it, join it, test, move it, see if that crashes. Yes, it does. I kinda just want to write to a text file what it's doing, but I'm going to end the stream here because we're not making any progress with this. I'll come back to, might be Monday, might be Tuesday, I don't know. I'll come back and pick up where we left off, which is here. So if you like what you see and want to get caught up with even more live streams, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Helps out the channel, helps get content like this recommended to others. And if you want to get notified when I go live again, I recommend you set notifications to all. This link to this software will be in the description below. It looks a lot better than the C# test version and is actually a software I use to plan my projects. So that's all from me for now. Fun Noober, out.